middle class revolts.
This is the Drum Club with somebody styling themselves MC Grumpy and Middle Class Revolt, new 12-inch. As you've probably noticed, I've got a bit of a cold, but mine is more exotic than most because I picked it up in Istanbul, which is where I've been for the last 10 days. Well, there and Sofia, but I had to go there by plane and come back by plane, and had to take so many tranquilizers. I'm very frightened of aeroplanes. It was about a day before I started to function at either end of this excursion. More details as the programme unfolds. Not too wearisome, I hope. American TV Cops. Dandy little combo, I'd say. American TV Cops, that's a new single from them, which is called Atrocity Girl. And we only had a couple of days in Bulgaria, our little party, and it started absolutely perfectly, the sort of thing which gives me more pleasure than you can possibly imagine, because in one of the national newspapers the following day there was a paragraph or two about, veteran BBC DJ arrives in our lovely country, dignifies our lovely country with his presence, I'm sure it said. And so it went on in a similar vein. And there was a picture of me arriving at the airport and so forth, except it was a picture of somebody completely different, arriving at the airport, but they got the wrong bloke. And it's one of those things which, you kind of treasure that for the rest of your life. These are the Archers of Loaf. They're in session. It starts very quietly, this one. It's called Thunder Frog. Archers of Loaf in session, and that's called Thunder Frog. As you can probably tell, my voice is in that kind of state. Regular listeners will recognise it anyway as being in that kind of state, which means that by the end of the programme, it will probably have disappeared altogether. And all to the good, I hear you cry. This is Simon Templar.
All junglers. All junglers.
Once again, not a great deal I can tell you about this one, except it's by Simon Templar, spelt with an A at the end of it. Rah! And it's on RB Records, very possibly. It says RB1 on it. It's a wide label. And the other side of it is called Couscous. This is Roky Erickson, his first proper record, really, apart from live recordings and bits and pieces in quite a while. On Trance Records, We Are Never Talking.
Though we are in the same place, we surely know the beauty of each other's face. Into each other we are not loving. Though we know where we are coming in the sun for light in heaven is sunny. And to each other we are never running. And for a long time
Very pleasant to hear Roky Erickson in good voice too. 7-inch single on Trance Records from Austin, Texas. And we are never talking, rather bad Texas accent there, for which I apologise. These are the Voodoo Queens, their most recent session from the programme from earlier this year, and a version of their last single. F is for Fame.
A is for adoration. You love yourself. B is for boring. You send me. C is you're cunning. You're cunning. You're coming. You're cunning. You're cunning. You're cunning. D is for drugs. Doesn't that make you what you are? Isn't that the antithesis of hate? A rock star. E is for everything which equals nothing which equals you. F is for fame. Just love yourself, you're living in. Ain't mythology, you've got nothing to me, you've got nothing to say for a generic quality, yeah. You want fame, you want the world to gyrate. You want the world to gyrate your way. Days for adoration. You love yourself. B is for boring. You don't send me. C is you're cunning. You're cunning. You're cunning. You're coming. You're cunning. You're coming. D is for drugs. Doesn't that make you what you are? Isn't that the antithesis of you? A rock star. E is for everything which equals nothing which equals you. F is for fame. Oh You're just a
Sounding rather stronger than the recorded version, I think. Those are the Voodoo Queens in session. F is for Fame. The main reason that I was in Bulgaria and Turkey was so that I can record a couple of programmes for the BBC World Service. I'll tell you more about those later on. And did pick up, as you might imagine, a considerable number of cassettes and one or two records as well. This is from a CD that cost me £3, actually. In fact, slightly less than £3 on the quayside on the edge of the Bosphorus. I just do all of this kind of irritate you, really, because I so seldom travel abroad at all that I want to make the most of it. It's by Sezen Aksu, and well, I think I was most impressed by this whole LP, and I think you may be as well. There'll be more from this. This is Sezen Aksu from Turkey. Sude is the title of the track. It's 10:30 on 24 Hour 1 FM, and Gillian Joseph has the news.
There are fears tonight of a sharp escalation in the war in Bosnia. Serb forces are planning a fight back from their first serious defeat. The self-styled Serb parliament will formally decide the next move, but the Serb leader Radovan Karadzic is calling for an all-out offensive.
We are going to declare the state of war in our assembly and to proclaim general mobilization and to fight to the final victory.
An international rock concert due to be held in Sarajevo this month has been cancelled. The organisers have banned British stars, including Tony Hadley of Spandau Ballet and Neil Murray of Black Sabbath. They won't let them perform in Sarajevo because they've appeared in concert on the other side in Belgrade. Police fear a robber who stabbed to death a Woolworths shop assistant in southwest London yesterday could strike again. They say the man had carried out 4 previous attacks on Woolworths stores, one just 2 hours before the killing of 21-year-old John Penfold. 2 protesters campaigning against the Criminal Justice Act are still demonstrating on the roof of the Palace of Westminster tonight. 5 climbed up at lunchtime, unfurled a banner and blew horns. Later, 3 came down. Home Secretary Michael Howard isn't impressed. He says the demonstrators are just being silly. A 53-year-old schoolteacher from Canada looks set to pick up hundreds of thousands of pounds in royalties after a High Court judge ruled that he wrote the song "Oh Carolina," the hit for reggae star Shaggy. Here's Mike Hill.
Dr. John Folkes told the High Court in London that he wrote the song at the age of 17 in 1958. It took him 20 minutes. But Prince Buster, who owned the label Oh Carolina was released on, insisted he'd written the song, which was a hit for him in the 50s. The court ruled in favour of John Folkes, and Prince Buster was ordered to pay the costs of the case.
That's it. There'll be more news on 1FM at 11:30.
Thanks very much, Gillian. No Tony Hadley for Sarajevo, as though they didn't have life battle enough as it is. Suffering makes great stories, ain't that the truth? That's Fudge Tunnel from the LP The Complicated Futility of Ignorance, which is on Earache Records. And amongst the people that I met in Istanbul, there's a group called Zen. And when I get their CD, not their CD so much as their cassette sorted out, I'll play you one or two tracks of theirs. Largely improvisational, in fact, they were. And I saw a concert of theirs a couple of nights ago, which was as bizarre an event as I've ever attended in all of my life. But I also spent an evening with them it used to be a beach house until the authorities moved the beach a couple of 100 yards further out by infilling the area, which is a bit disappointing. At one time, apparently, the sea used to lap at their front door, as it were, and it now laps on some rocks a couple of 100 yards away. But we sat out on these rocks with a few beers and watched the sun go down, and you do get astonishingly beautiful sunsets there, mainly because it's so grotesquely polluted that the effect of one upon the other is really quite breathtaking. And when we went back in, I had to look through their record collection, and I saw an LP called Sounds Hawaiian by Jerry Bird, because they were sort of supreme ironists, which made me feel that perhaps the whole of Turkey was full of such people, but they said there weren't that many. In fact, all of the ironists in the whole of Turkey were probably gathered in that room at that particular time. But they had this Sounds Hawaiian LP, which is by a guitar player called Jerry Bird, and he made a record once called either Memories of Maria or A Letter to Maria. I can't remember which. I think probably Memories, and I've been trying to find it for 25 years, which is a bit of a hint. They don't have it in the BBC record library, to my great disappointment, but I told them this story, and they were so moved by it, as anybody would be, that they gave me the LP, which I thought was very sweet of them. Here from the LP Sounds Hawaiian by Jerry Bird is Maui Chimes. First-class entertainment, I'm sure you'll agree. That's Jerry Bird and Maui Chimes from the LP Sounds Hawaiian. And on the back of the sleeve, one of the members of the band has written, "Find the records, get them all," because there are some others advertised in the same series. This must have come out, I suppose, sometime. In fact, it must have a date in it somewhere, but I can't find one. Anyway, let's say the 1960s at some stage. But there's also Sounds from the Shows, Sounds Swinging, which has got a picture of a slightly underdressed woman on a swing. Sounds Brassy, which has got a slightly underdressed woman playing a trombone. Sounds Sentimental, got a rather overdressed woman, actually, sitting at a table looking mournful. Sounds Harpy with back to the naked women, or semi-naked woman, most, I'd say ill-conceived costume. And then Sounds Latin. And I suspect we shall never find any of these things, but having a copy of Sounds of wine is a pretty darn good start, I'd say. And this was a record that was recommended to me by some of my pals too, and they are going to genuinely be. I've got a feeling that there's going to be a kind of Turkish enclave springing up in East Anglia in the next few years. And recommended to me was a cassette by an ensemble called Nux Vomica. I have a feeling that I've seen Nux Vomica records actually released in this country, but I may have imagined that. The cassette is called Neurobesk, I think. Here's a track from it.
Well, people
Pretty smart, I'd say. That's Nux vomica, which used to be, I'm not quite sure what it means, but it used to be something that you saw on old-fashioned glass bottles in old-fashioned chemist shops. What the effect of it on you was, I simply don't know. What a serious, it made you vomit, but is that too much? Is that too simple? Anyway, on Hades Records, from a cassette called Neurobesk, available in Istanbul and other fine places, that's called New Dawn of the Damned. And one of my best chums said to me before I went off to Turkey, he said, you won't like it. He said, it's charmless and macho. And, I mean, obviously, there are aspects of that in the sense that people have to compete in order to earn a rather unsatisfactory living. It's not a prosperous place by any means at all. But beneath the surface, I have to say, I found more agreeable people there than I've met anywhere for a very long time indeed. So much so, an example of this was because people come up and try and sell you carpets all the time. And we were outside the Blue Mosque, which is, again, astonishingly beautiful place. And I was wandering about, and this bloke came up and started chatting. And I said to him, I know that in a few moments or so you're going to say that you want us to buy some of your carpets. I said, but to be perfectly, because I was there with the pig, and I said, to be perfectly honest with you, we're not kind of carpet people, really. So a load of children, cats, dogs and things, don't have much room for carpets. And so he said, oh, well, never mind. And we carried on talking, and I said, have you ever been to England? And he said, no, never have. I said, I suppose you'd like to come over sometime, would you? And he said, well, I've thought about it, a bit expensive and so forth. I said, well, you probably want to go to London like everybody else. He said, well, no, it's odd, he said, actually, I've always wanted to go to Sheffield. And I said, well, nothing wrong with Sheffield. It seems a strange place to want as a kind of holiday destination. It's not everybody's first choice. And he said, ever since I was about 7 or 8 years old, he said, I've wanted to have Yorkshire pudding. He said, I'll be honest with you, he said, I don't even know what it is, but I've always wanted to try Yorkshire pudding. So I said, you're a fine man. And I gave him our name and address, our phone number and address, and said, if you ever come to England, get in touch with us, I said, because the pig makes an excellent Yorkshire pudding, and you can come and stay and have some Yorkshire pudding. And I must admit, I think I gave my address and phone number to more people in Turkey than I ever have done in any other place in all of my life. I would recommend it if you can put up with the pollution. This is another one from Archers of Loaf. My voice is going to stop in a moment, so I don't know you won't get any more of these anecdotes. That'll be, this is Bacteria.
Expecting too much from you, and I can hardly see your face. It's all covered with Noxema. If you decide one day to concentrate, skip to take the easy way. All uncertainty you think you bring gets destroyed by your guitar. My amp is on, the stereo's blaring, hear you scream, but I can't hear what you're saying. Comes a time to defeat your friends, to make so easy for me. But you know, every time I think that I've gone somewhere, I haven't gotten anywhere at all. I only think south, 'cause I know you'd never get there to find me. Shove the max slime in your brain. Spit thoughts like into use. And I can kind of hear them grate. Or aid it by bacteria. If you decide one day to concentrate, shooby-dooby-wop. And all uncertainty you think you bring is so stupid and easy to. My infants on your stereo, blaring in your screen, but I can't hear what you're saying. Comes a time to reach your breath to make so easy for me, easy for me. But you know, every time I think that I want to share, realize I haven't got a spare. At least I make believe it. Try to conceal it till you find. And blame me for the things I said. Beating on something that's already dead. Killing every part of it that's in your head. Your head. Your head.
Still reckon their set at Reading, one of the highlights of the year. Archers of Loaf, and that's called Bacteria. And since I came back, I only got back yesterday evening, so I've not had an awful lot of chance to catch up on the astonishing number of records that have come in while I've been away. But I did listen to an EP on, as far as I can tell, Kaboom Records, called rather shockingly Big Bollocks Bonfire Blow Up, subtitled 5th of November 1994, featuring Fabric, Ligament, Wat Tyler, Joey Fat, Hood, and Emperor Julian.
Factory of flavors in decline, and just a few remain. The fashion
official detective, dedicated to the men who guard your safety and protect your home, your police department.
That's Lafayette Thomas and a track from the LP My Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mama, a gift from Brother Kershaw. I should now tell you what he's got on his programme. Oh, actually, I can actually tell you what he's got on his programme tomorrow afternoon on 1FM. At least I think I can. Hold on a sec. What's the date going to be? Not the 20th of the 11th. Here we go. The 5th, isn't it? Right. Danny Red. That's London Jamaican Roots Reggae Dancehall, and the Positively Test Card, South African-style Quaila Whistle Band from South East London. This is Skimmer. Hey, do you realise that you're missing David Mellor on the television? I bet you feel a bit of a fool, don't you? That's Skimmer on Crackle Records from Leeds. They come from Walsall. Speaking of television, actually, on our recent trip to Turkey and Bulgaria, don't worry, I get bored with this fairly soon, but the excellent Fast Show became a very major and dominant feature in our lives as we went round, and we much puzzled our host by going like, "Suit you, sir?" and "Scotch you," and these sort of things wherever we went. I simply cannot understand why the programme hasn't taken the nation by storm. Perhaps it has in your house. I like to feel that people of discernment and taste who would listen to this programme anyway rather than watch David Mellor on television will have been much affected by the Fast Show. And with that in mind, I'd like to thank, to a degree anyway, the listener who sent me the first couple of episodes which I missed. I was very pleased to get them. Unfortunately, there seems to be no soundtrack on the video that you sent me, so I can watch them but alas not hear them. And I did try and phone up somebody within the television department, within BBC Television, to try and scrounge copies, but she sounded so fierce that I chickened out and asked some stupid question about them and said, "Thank you very much," and put the phone down. But I'll track them all down because I hope there's going to be more of them. I thought they were awe-inspiring. This is from Aulus Bailey, one of those LPs which I'm sure is dismissed by the experts as Formula Sucus, but it'll do nicely with me. This is Canon Slier. Lecetto, that's Aulus Mabele and Canon Slier. And our little musical journey takes us next from Paris to Milan.
Not to make them eternal, eternal, eternal. Because that depends on you. Take everything and let me hear it, nothing but mine.
From Milan, that's the wrong side, on Lake of Marmalade Records, from an LP called Marmalade, and that was To Live On. Here's another from the Voodoo Queens. From an EP called Sector 1, these are waveforms and vexations. It's getting faster. No, maybe not. Before that, it was the Voodoo Queens. They're in session. You'll lose a good thing, the title of that, of course. Tomorrow afternoon's sessions come from Spike, their debut on the programme, and a repeat of a recent session from Heavenly. The high point, before my voice disappears entirely, the high point of my trip to Istanbul came on the very last day, which was, what day was it? Wednesday. And I had to go and do it's one of those things that had been sorted out and I had no control over it at all. I had to go to a radio station there called Power FM, which is hugely popular in Turkey, the most popular station in the country. And believe me, there are an enormous number of them. All of them, I know that's a silly thing to say, but a great number of them broadcasting on the same wavelength too, which makes life, well, sort of interesting, avant-garde really, whether you like it or not. And I was going to be interviewed there by, well, one of the least sympathetic characters I've ever encountered in all of my life, who was a bloke who was born in San Francisco but seemed to speak pretty fluent Turkish, called Cem Gemini. Now, Cem Gemini was also, in addition to everything else, had very powerful hair and an even more powerful body. He was a kind of bodybuilder and sort of triangular shaped and given to rather wearing ripped vests and so forth, form-fitting. And he was a DJ in that kind of classic 60s style, you know, a lot of shouting, a lot of jingles, a lot of funny noises and so forth, and did his programme in a rather different way to the way that these programmes are done, yet nevertheless have been lined up for us to do, have a bit of a chat, and went down to meet him the day before and thought to myself, really, this isn't me, you know, at all, but was prevailed upon to go ahead with it. At the same time, my voice was disappearing, so I could barely speak, and but it was 7 minutes before I needed to, in fact, because Jem rather took over. We're going to return to John Peel here on Power FM, shout out this, and loads of jingles and noises and burps and farts and one thing or another, and bits of his own stuff, you know, give me my T-shirts here, and he kept going on. Very powerful performance, really, and seamless, no question about it. Brainless, but seamless. And after a while, anyway, he said, would I play a record? And I was rather impressed by this. You know, I made up a little list of records I thought would be nice to play. And, well, this is the first one I played.
Dream. I was only 15. If only my
A great record, as I'm sure you'll agree, 2 minutes and 15 seconds long on Parlophone Records, Supergrass, and that's called Caught by the Fuzz. Jim Gemini let it play for 40 seconds rather, before he introduced Jim Gemini and came in with a whole bunch of stuff over the top of that. Good tune, he said to me in a patronising way, having faded it out. The next record he allowed to play for 1 minute and 10 seconds. That was probably not unrelated to the fact that it was only 1 minute and 10 seconds long. And then I put on a dance record, and that one lasted, I forget what it was, to be perfectly honest, but it lasted 30 seconds. And it turned out, I found out later on, that while because they was playing inside a store, very modern equipment, I mean, obviously very beautiful, and there's a terrific store in the middle of Istanbul, all high-tech, full of gorgeous people, you know. I mean, I was an anachronism there from the very moment I walked through the door, people thinking, well, who is this extraordinary-looking bloke? Everyone just looked fantastic. Anyway, so I went... What's happened to me? Is that my voice that's doing that? Sorry, I get so carried away. I've got little harmonies on my own voice now. No, it's gone. Pity. Anyway, so it turned out that the store manager was so enraged at the Supergrass record that he came down and was like shouting at everybody who had anything to do with it at all, saying that it was spoiling the ambience of the store and things, which was all kind of, well, I mean, you know, whatever it is, a lot of Elton John, I guess. Nothing wrong with Elton John as a human being, but the music I don't really want to listen to. So I saw it as a bit of a triumph, to be perfectly honest. So it lasted about 15 minutes in total. We were supposed to do an hour, but 15 minutes was as much as we got. I don't think they liked us at all, you know. And probably it's just as well that we only got 15 minutes, because later on it was my intention to play this. I'll come back to this in just a moment, but right now it's 11:30 on 24 Hour 1FM, and Gillian Joseph has the news.
The family of a shop assistant stabbed to death in Woolworths have appealed for help in finding his killer. 21-year-old John Penfold was working in the London branch of the store when he was murdered. Police say his attacker has robbed other Woolworths stores. John's aunt, Cherry Penfold, who's a police officer, made this plea to parents.
I think if perhaps parents could just bear in mind that if you even have a suspicion that perhaps it's your child that could be involved in this, can you just perhaps additionally bear in mind that if the tables had been turned, or but for the grace of God, you could be in the position that Michael and Madeline are now in.
Detectives in Sunderland are questioning a man about the murder of 3 teenagers whose burned bodies were found last winter. At first it was thought they had died from solvent abuse, but last month police started a murder investigation. The leader of the Bosnian Serbs, Radovan Karadzic, has ordered a general mobilisation after recent advances by Muslim and Croat forces, and it's thought the Serbs may declare a general state of war and impose martial law. Yesterday, the Bosnian Serbs lost their first town since the war began 2.5 years ago. One person protesting against the new Criminal Justice Act is still on the roof of the Houses of Parliament. 5 protesters scaled a wall and climbed onto the roof more than 10 hours ago. 4 has since come down. Tory MP Sir Ivan Lawrence.
We've got fences that don't seem to stop anybody. We've got old-fashioned drain pipes that help them up. And my only concern now is that these people don't fall off the roof, because it's a very dangerous roof.
7 men are in police custody after the abduction of a Buckinghamshire man. Bevan Bushy was taken from his home in High Wycombe on Tuesday and driven to Staffordshire, then London, where armed police fired shots at his car's tyres to immobilise him. Mr Bushy was released unharmed. That's it. There'll be more news on 1FM at 12:30.
Hey, 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 little boy.
That's Ramler on the Freak record label, I think, from an LP called Homeless, Blind Alley Return Trip. They always urge me to play the longer tracks on these records, but just isn't enough time, to be perfectly honest. The long ones were sort of like 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes long. And before that, it was the Azaleas from that LP Frank Guida Presents, etc., on Ace Records, and a song called Hey Little Boy. I know you think I make these letters up. Perhaps this one is sent in as a joke, but it comes from Philip in London. I won't give it the rest of his name to save him embarrassment, but it says, please excuse me from writing to you, but recently I've become increasingly haunted by a recurring theme of a tune which I recollect I originally heard on one of your programmes around 1970. I could well be out a few years in either direction. It's eating away at my sanity like a Chinese water torture, and you represent my only chance of salvation. The only clue that I can provide is that the tune was akin to a Red Indian chant, and the predominant lyric, to the best of my recollection, went something like E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I-E-I. It sounds like Old MacDonald, actually. The singer was, I think, male, and that's the only information I've got. I don't think I'm going to come up with a sensible answer to that one, Philip, I must say. But on the other hand, there's very likely to be somebody listening who will know exactly what it is. This is another from Archers of Loaf in session, Smoking Pot in the Hot City. Archers of Loaf in session. That's called Smoking Pot in the Hot City. Time, I think, for me to remind you of the Festive 50s. Still not exactly sure when it is that it's going to be broadcast, but sometime over the Christmas and New Year period. And what you have to do, if you're interested in doing so, of course, is to write down your 3 favourite tracks of the year, be they singles or LP tracks or things taken from our sessions. Put them down in order on the back of an envelope or on a postcard, along with your own name and address. And anything else I'm supposed to tell you, the address. John Peel, care of BBC Radio 1 FM, London W1N 4DJ, and I'm sure there's something else I was supposed to say to you, but no, it's gone. Anyway, that's all you need to do. Your 3 favourite tracks of the year on a postcard or on the back of an envelope, and they'll be broadcast, worked into, woven skillfully with a great deal of industry into a chart, and that'll be broadcast over Christmas and New Year. This is Strictly Dub. Strictly Dub. I'm not quite sure what the name of the artiste actually could be. It says Finer Fingers on there as well, and it's on back-to-back records, published by Moe's Music. And anything else I can tell you about it? I think probably not. While it was going on, actually, a woman member of the staff came in and told me that I was looking pretty neat. Now, that's the kind of thing that happens to you when you achieve middle age, listeners. Let me warn you about that. In addition to becoming, well, sort of invisible, you also become neat. That's as much as that you can possibly hope for. Like, you know, well-stacked shelves, that kind of thing. Nobody comes in and says, we want to sleep with you. They say, you look neat. My goodness me. These are the Voodoo Queens and Dream Boy Kits. You're listening to Neat John Peel on Fabulous 1FM. That's the Voodoo Queens in session, Dream Boy Kits. Information about them? Well, they're close to finishing writing the material for their new LP, which they hope to record early in the new year. Angela and Ella are currently close to finishing a 3-week promotional trip to the USA, where they've been playing a handful of acoustic shows following the release of Neptune as a single on Dirt Records, New York, as their first USA release. Here's another one. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't even know this myself until this evening. Those of you who are are interested in the contents of these programmes, want to know what the records are, we're going to have a similar service to that provided by the Kershaw programme, except it won't be quite as efficient because his goes on to CFAX about 10 minutes after he finishes the programme, and the information about these programmes will go in about 2 days later because I can't be bothered to stay here. I just want to go home after the programme, as anybody would, and can't be bothered to sit up and make all of the corrections and things. So it'll be sometime on Monday that the information from these programmes will go up on page 657 of CFAX. I must remember that. It's page 657. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to happen this week or not, but we'll endeavour to let you know tomorrow afternoon, because I just bet you can't wait. This is Gorky's Psychotic Monkey.
Tom Peel Kapdag.
Well, apologies for this, but we seem to have drifted into one of those strange situations where only one of our turntables is working properly, and this one is only giving you half the signal, although we've done our best to give you the rest of it. So I'll take the record off and give the instrument a good bang. See if that makes sense. Satisfying, anyway. That was sort of 7 hertz, I guess it must be. I mean, 7/8Z, or 3.5 in this particular instance, on Full Circle Records and Brand New Day. But as a courtesy to them, I'll wait until we get the machinery fixed and then play it to you again so that you get all of it. This is a CD, so it ought to work all right. I mean, it's the machinery, not the records, of course. This is Elevate.
The turbulence is lamentable. Sugar expletive. Borrow the same glass to meet up with the gorge. Passed between you and me. For miles and miles. It's shameless, unlike have I no trust, but it can kick me, so then I am independent again. Independent again. Onto her legs. It's the battle. It's so brittle. It's so long ago, so late. Veronica, cradle small child in arms. Yeah, have I no trust, but it can kick me. So then I am independent again. Independent again. Independent again.
That's Elevate, a track from their LP on Flower Shop Records called Bronzy. They were going to explain to me why it's called Bronzy, but I haven't seen them to get that explanation. But as soon as I have it, I shall pass it on to you. Half Painted Chair was the title of the track, and a fax here from Keith. It says Keith Weybridge, whether this is somebody called Keith living in Weybridge or somebody who's actually called Keith Weybridge, I'm not sure. Says, I don't know if you're live at the moment or not. Well, about 3/4 live is about how I feel. But he said, if you are, can you play Angel in a Half Shirt by Tuscadero and tell me which LP it's on. Well, it's not on an LP that I'm aware of. It's a 7-inch single, and I can't play it to you at the moment because it's 100 miles or so away at home. But and I can't play it tomorrow either because I don't go home for that. But we'll try and play it next weekend for you. Also, while I'm dealing with things which I've just been looking at, here's a note from, a kind of newsletter, really, from Ace Records, and they're releasing an LP called The Golden Age of Rock and Roll Volume 4, but it does contain 2 tracks which have been played from time to time on these programmes, and I have on previous occasions said how difficult it was to get hold of them. One is Linda Lou by Ray Sharp. I call my baby better, but her real name is Linda Lou. And the other one is a song which has not been anthologised before that I know of, but certainly should have been on numerous occasions, and that's Lonely Saturday Night by Don French. I have a cassette of that in the car and sing along with it in a rather tuneless and rather horrible way, but it'll at least be available on CD shortly. A little advertising feature for you there. This is Compat Pussycat, and this is another track from the Noisebox EP Backwater 3, Norwich area bands, Broken Glass.
será naturales. Chirito, pase la bicicleta.
That's the track from the LP Music from Around the World on Rounder Records, a sampler, Astor Piazzolla and the new Tango Quintet. Before that, it was Compact Pussycat on Noisebox Records from the EP Backwater 3, Broken Glass. This is another one I think I played you before, but frankly, I lose track of these things with all of the excitement, and obviously last weekend's programmes were frankly slightly pre-recorded. This is Leica, Red River. Johnny and the Hurricanes, and that's Red River Rock from ever so long ago. And before that, it was, well, I'm afraid, Red River on 2 Pure Records by Leica from the LP of the same name. Technology is a wonderful thing, and I can't get through to me home on the phone. So, Pig, if you're listening and the phone has rung twice in the last 2 or 3 minutes and just gone beep when you've answered it, that's been me, I'm afraid. It happens at both ends. Most peculiar. They tell you it doesn't, of course, if you phone up and say, but you know what's happening? Our phone just goes beep all the time and nobody speaks. Archers of Loaf and Mutes in the Steeple.
Trading tongues with the mutes in the steeple, avoiding all the people, afraid of saying the wrong things. It only hurts to help the victims know that it's just a joke, draining the tap attached to the back of their skulls. And the same thing that makes us laugh shuts our mouth, stabs our back, leaks out from the reservoir, grinning 'cause it's winning all the time. And the main thing is that time and time again I've tried to skip the dark side, satisfied with scoring second. It only hurts to let the ones who know where they wanna go wrong, draining the tap attached to the back of their skull. It's the main thing.
An extraordinary phenomenon as this is deserves an extraordinary investigation. It's the most important thing in human history. The biggest story ever. The biggest story of all time. Behold the staggering underground.
Your phenomenal mind made all this possible. Now you're going to see it in operation. This is a man's secret. Hey, what you doing, Nation Records? How you going? Satellite control. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. Blast off.
before. Consider we are nuts.
Behold the staggering underground.
Transglobal Underground, another track from the LP on Nation Records, International Times. And before that, it was Archers of Loaf. I think the last from them in session for tonight. That was called Mutes in the Steeple. It's now 12:30 on 24-hour 1FM, and Gillian Joseph has the news.
The Bosnian Serbs, Radovan Karadzic, has ordered a general mobilization after advances by Muslim and Croat forces. It's thought the Serbs may declare a general state of war and impose martial law. Yesterday, the Bosnian Serbs lost their first town since the war began 2.5 years ago. The rooftop protest at the Houses of Parliament has ended. 5 demonstrators opposed to the Criminal Justice Act evaded security and spent 9 hours on the roof of the Palace of Westminster. 4 came down during the evening, leaving a single man who ended his protest just before midnight. A house in Cheshire has been destroyed in what's thought to be a gas explosion. Neighbours have been moved out of their homes in the Ellesmere Port area, and a team of workers is at the scene dealing with a big gas leak. An ocelot, a member of the cat family, has died at Glasgow Zoo from a form of BSE or mad cow disease. It's the first recorded case of the disease in a small carnivore, and again raises fears about how the disease might be transmitted between species. That's it. There'll be more news on 1FM at 1:30.
I don't have an awful lot of doubt that nobody likes this LP except me, but I really care for it. The Denison Kimball Trio, and as I pointed out on previous occasions, they are, of course, not a trio at all, just a duo. On Skin Graft Records from the LP Walls in the City, that's One If By Land. And this is Pain Gang, a track from the Skunk LP, This Some Bad Weed Volume 2. This is Pain Gang, a track from it's a double LP, as a matter of fact, on Skunk Records, This Some Bad Weed Volume 2. Somehow I missed out on Volume 1. Perhaps there wasn't, and they're being whimsical. Anyway, that's Pain Gang and Paloma. And despite my suffering, of course, from what is known in medical circles as Istanbul throat, my voice seems to have held up for most of the programme. I've only got a few minutes to go now, 18, actually, to be precise. Let me tell you once again that this afternoon's sessions come from Spike and Heavenly. That's between 4:30 and 7. Next weekend, on Friday night, it's Deep Purple, all the way from Finland, and Whiteout from Glasgow. And on Saturday week, it's Ed Hall and Pussy Crush. I think all of those debut sessions on the programme. Pretty riveting. And here's another one of those sessions which is now available on Strange Fruit Records in the Peel Sessions series. Well paid. This is Uzeda. Uzeda from Sicily, as far as I know, the only band we've ever had a session from that part of the world. On Strange Fruit Records, that's Well Paid. And this is the last from the Voodoo Queens. It's called Caffeine.
scream, then sit there silently and sip
stain the brain.
Last from the Voodoo Queens in session for this evening. That's called Caffeine. I just found a piece of paper, actually, which tells me about the present activities of our other session guests, the Archers of Loaf. It says they've just finished recording their new LP, which will be released in February on Alias Records and will be entitled VV. They may come over around then to do some gigs. Well, if they do, we may go and see them. I have no more for you from the Archers of Loaf, but I thought I'd better pass that information on before we all disappeared into the night. Don't forget, of course, it's Mark Tonderai in just a moment's time. But before that, from the LP called Outer Works on Sabres of Paradise, Inner Sphere, and this is called, not very upliftingly, really. It's called Tuberculosis 303. Well, this record actually seems to be in mono, but is it really? Strange things going on. That's Inner Sphere and Tuberculosis 303 from the LP Outer Works. Don't forget this afternoon's sessions from Spike and Heavenly. Hope you'll be able to join me. Here's Mark.